Hello and welcome to SEGA News Bits Live. This is going to be a different sort of video. Usually I throw these up in the morning, early morning or during the lunch hours to talk about SEGA news. But I thought I would do something a little different. This is the launch day of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge. And that game has very, very loose SEGA connections, if any, if you're a stickler for that sort of thing. But pretty much it's from the Streets of Rage 4 developer, and it features music from T. Lopes, who worked on Sonic Mania. So right there you got a few connections. And I'll be quite honest, growing up with the Sega Genesis, I had the Sonic 1, Sonic 2, Ghostbusters the video game, and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Hyperstone Heist. And so those were kind of my core game library for many years. And so this game definitely scratches that itch. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to present some gameplay footage. The game is out now, I believe, so you can pick it up and play it. But if you're on the fence or if you're saving up money, this will just give you a good idea of what the first few stages. I think I'm going to show clips from 1 to 3 and 5, something like that. So if spoilers are your issue, but honestly, it's like they steal something and chase the bad guys. Like this is not like plot heavy stuff. So let's get into it. So one of the things that kind of caught my attention was that it is using the, I guess you could say like the 1980s style of character designs. There are some changes, so Splinter does look a little different than he did in the show itself. Also, I don't know, I feel like they play up a little bit of the characters as they've evolved over the years for fans. So like, I don't know, I feel like Irma feels a little more like nerdy flirty, whereas in the past I feel like she just was kind of like April's co-worker and kind of a klutz, and Vern is more of a jerk in this, but yeah, they do definitely play up some of those tropes. And the plot itself, you can see here they've got like the Krang's android body head, which is an interesting sort of addition there. So there are multiple characters that you can select from. They do have their own unique moves. I mean, they all play pretty similarly, but I have not played all of the characters yet, but from what I've experienced with Michelangelo, he can do this aerial attack where he bounces on enemy heads, and you can kind of chain them and do it at multiple points. I believe Donatello can reach a little further. Leonardo does kind of like a spinning attack. So you do get little bonus moves for each of the characters, which is a nice touch. But I've always played as Michelangelo, so picking him first was obvious for me. So you can see right there, I just jumped on the guy's head, and then as I'm playing, I realized I could do that multiple times. Another thing you can do is charge attacks, which I was not aware of at this point in playing. Later in the second video I'm going to play, I become well aware of that, so I think I do that later on. If I don't, it's definitely something I've been doing a lot now. Should I pretend I'm playing? One of the things I really enjoy about the 1980s Ninja Turtles and how it's kind of become its own subgenre within the franchise is that it sticks to the technology of that era. So it's actually like, back in the day, it was like, of course, this is what computers and like phones look like, because it's the early 90s, it's the late 80s. Like, yeah, we were living it. But now looking at this stuff 30 years later, like, it's stuff that's commonplace in the Turtles cartoon and Turtle video games are now like retro, which is kind of strange to me. Like, I still see computer monitors like that and just think computer, but I'm sure younger fans playing this are seeing these massive computer monitors and like, oh, I wish I picked up a CRT, man, so I could play my Sega Genesis. Throughout the game, you're going to see a lot of very specific enemy animations and weapons specific to the environment, which I thought was really cool. You don't see that so much in the earlier Ninja Turtle games. As you can see here, they have a cooking show going on. These enemies proved really difficult for me. I'm still trying to figure out how exactly to find their weak point. I guess I just start attacking them until I finally get through, as you can see. Now, there are challenges throughout the stages, which are, I guess, kind of feel like a very modern thing because, you know, like you play mobile games and they'll have like little challenges that you need to complete within your run. And then in this case, there are challenges that exist, such as you have to not get hurt the entire time, or avoid using a certain attack, or you need to do a certain attack a certain amount of time. So if you're really into that sort of thing, I suggest kicking off the game and pausing to view the challenges, because I've lost out on some of the challenges just by playing the game as I normally would. Oh well. Whoops. A really nice touch to the game is that they brought in the original 4 voice actors for the 1980s Ninja Turtles from the cartoon, so you get a lot of specific lines for specific stages. You also get, I believe they have like banter between them if you have certain characters on screen. I could be wrong, but I feel like I've caught that in some other footage that I've watched. And because those 4 original actors played, I believe some of them played Bebop and Rocksteady. Cam Clark played one of those 2 guys, and then he also played Leonardo, correct me if I'm wrong, and he was also in Rise of the Dragon, which we recently did a video for. So you do get some other original voice actors because they played multiple parts on the show, so that's really cool. So as you saw there, you have these super moves that you build up. So if you look in that upper left-hand corner, you see that blue bar filling up as I hit characters, and then I can do these super moves. You can do those from the ground and aerial, but I think the aerial ones are shorter, but have maybe just as much of an impact on the enemies as the ground ones, which seem little more extended and have a broader reach. So I think aerial special attacks are just as strong but more concentrated, pretty much. So. So this is the turtle lair that you get to visit. They have the really cool music playing that's very similar to the incidental music you'd hear when they're in their lair on the TV show. These are collectibles. You can also visit the dojo in the living room, and it's just kind of like a place to view all the items you've picked up. I've tried to actually view the items themselves, so it says here these are classic headlines from when Byrne was a reporter, but I don't think you can actually read them, which would have been like next level stuff if we could have actually like seen little animations of someone like reading. I don't know. I mean, maybe I'm expecting too much from it, but I saw this and I'm like, oh, you collect pages from Irma's diary. That's really cool. Oh, but you can't really read it. Oh well.
Big Apple, 3 p.m.
So we have a question here from eFootball, and he asks, hi, what do you think compared to the gameplay of Hyperstone or Turtles in Time? Is it more fun or too repetitive? Well, I will say that this game definitely takes the best of all of the games, I feel, all of the arcade fighting games. If I'm remembering correctly, one of them lacked the dash button, but then the other one, Turtles in Time, lacked the ability to throw enemies at the screen. So in this game, you get both of those, and I'm a huge dasher. I love dashing and attacking. You're seeing me doing it here a lot. So yeah, I think overall it's a much deeper control system. There's a lot more going on, and that really helps with the longevity of the game. Like I mentioned earlier, characters have a much more specific moves to themselves, which is really fun. So there's definitely a lot here, a lot more than the classic games. So overall, I think this is, I wouldn't say it's more fun, it's as fun, if not more fun. I guess I am saying it's more fun. But that isn't to say that the older games are like worse than this. This is different, but it's good. Hey, there's Irma, see? See, they like play up Irma being a little like nerdy cute. I don't know if they did that on the show so much. I feel like it's the animators who are finally getting to live their dream of animating Irma and having her do cutesy little poses. I always felt like Irma was like falling a lot. Maybe, I don't know. So this is giving you a very good idea of what you kind of can expect from every stage. They have enemies coming in on stage-specific obstacles. They have, as you can see here, it's a lot more car-themed. The previous stage was more TV station, working in offices, cooking food. So it's very cool to see the foot soldiers have a lot more variety, on top of the fact that they have the different colors, which have different ways of attacking. Overall, just like super solid. I've seen some reviews, like IGN was saying that it didn't bring anything new to the table, but I'm not really sure what they wanted. Like, you're either going to get the skateboarding stages or you're going to get these types of stages, and that's what the franchise has always had in every single one of these games. So, I mean, I have really zero complaints about what I've played so far. I know some might say, oh, they should have had like a Turtle Van segment, but I haven't completed the game yet, so maybe they do. So I'm not going to make any calls there, but I really like how they take all these elements of specifically the cartoon, and bring them all together because, well, as you'll see here, actually, there's another video that I'm going to start playing right now. So this is jumping forward in the game a little bit. You're going to see at certain points them actually referencing the toy line, which is really fun. The show itself would bring the toys into it, but sometimes they would change the designs of the toys, or vice versa. Like, the toys from the show would be a little different, but this is 100% TV show aesthetics, but they do bring in some of the toy vehicles, which is really fun. I'm going to actually point out some of them as I see them here, but I will let you guys listen to the music and sound effects a little bit, and then I'll chime in again if I have something to say. I have another question here from eFootball asking, sometimes the level of design of this game reminds me of Streets of Rage 4. What is your opinion? Yeah, most definitely. I mean, it's from members of the team who worked on that, so you're going to get that. I feel like this kind of Streets of Rage-ifies the Ninja Turtle games, which is not a bad thing. Streets of Rage, obviously console exclusive, not an arcade game, though I'm sure some people would actually think that it was born out of arcades, even though Streets of Rage wasn't. And because of that, this game being for consoles, not based on any arcade port, I think is able to take a lot of things that Streets of Rage has done and applied it to Ninja Turtles very well. So yeah, I definitely got that comparison playing this, and yeah, absolutely enjoyed it. I feel like I need to hold a controller.
Party favors for every foot. That sure hits the spot. Ha!
Yeah, the team who worked on this .emu or .emu, I'm not sure how you say it, They have worked on Streets of Rage 4, Metal Slug Tactics, Windjammers, Wonder Boy: The Dragon's Trap, and then some other like Neo Turf Masters, an R-type game. So they definitely are the retro studio that's operating right now. You know, like that seems to really be their niche now. I definitely agree with that. I'm a huge Simpsons fan, and it's been so disappointing what Fox and I guess now Disney has done with the license. It's pretty much been a EA exclusive, and it's just been the Simpsons Tapped Out mobile game, which admittedly I play, but that's not a game so much. You know, it's a shame though. I'd really love to see more Simpsons games, especially arcade ones like this. Talking about the show, so these guys have worked together before on the show. They were, I believe, action figures first, and then they brought them into the show as a team, and they appear, I want to say, in an Easter episode. I could be wrong, but I think they were like in some extended episode or something like that. The action figures themselves are really cool. So, yeah, it's fun to see how, when you get into the later levels, they utilize these characters who are really more well known as their action figures than actually appearing on the show.
Turn out the lights. I'm going underground. Ooh. Outstanding, Destroyer. Crane's head is getting away, dudes! King of the Spill! Yeah! Go! Yeah!
A little funny kind of in-joke I've picked up on is that they treat the frogs, those 4 frogs that appear on the show, kind of as the Ninja Turtles of the Ninja Turtles universe. So you're gonna see, you just saw there they had their own cola, but then there was also standees outside a video game store for them, I think, at one point in the game. So it's kind of a funny little meta commentary on the merchandising of Ninja Turtles, but instead the frogs are the Turtles version of the Turtles. I don't know. It's funny though. I enjoyed that little kind of joke reference going on. Yeah, regarding physical copies, it really seems like it's become an industry trend to do a digital release and then hold off on the physical release for as long as possible, especially with these smaller games. I have no idea when we're even going to get the limited run games versions, but the stuff you can pick up on Amazon, as mentioned, like it's pushed to the end of August, which is a real shame. I wish this would have been like a digital and physical release at the same time. But then there's been games like Sonic Origins that Sega's being super. I can walk into Walmart and find like plain vanilla Sonic Mania, no plus, like in the 1999 bin. I feel like Origins is destined to have something like that maybe, or a Sonic Origins Plus. I don't know, but it is kind of disappointing that the physical release of this has like this waiting period. My advice would be to pick up, if you have more than one console, pick this up for like digitally on like Switch or Xbox, and then buy it physically for the other one. That's kind of how I operate when they do nonsense like this. But at the very least, they've said there's no DLC for this game planned, so what you get is what you get. So it doesn't seem like we're going to be waiting for a physical release that's going to have content locked on it that we didn't get in the digital, or vice versa. So at least they're not doing something like that.
Not so fast, hombre.
So there's a really cool reference here. I got super excited when I saw it the first time I was playing this. The vehicle that he's standing on there, the wrecked vehicle, is actually an enemy vehicle from the original toy line. I don't believe it ever appeared on the show. If it did, it would have looked quite a bit different, but here they have all the little details correct, like the stickers that are on it. And I know this vehicle so well because I actually refurbished one about a year ago. A friend of mine sold me his, and it actually came with an extra set of decals, so I removed all the old stickers, put the new ones on. So yeah, it's really cool to see the actual wrecked vehicle there that I just refurbished. And the funny thing is, the little handlebar part that's off to the side was broken on the one I had, and I had to super glue it. So it's kind of funny to see it here broken again, even though I actually just went and refurbished the original vehicle. So I'm gonna let the rest of this play out with audio. I'll stop talking, and then we're gonna take a little break. We're gonna do something before we end things.
Isn't befitting a king. Ugh. Outstanding, Monstrayer. Show you later, geek.
So there is a pretty good look at what the first 5 stages look like from the game. I skipped over a skateboarding scene, not because I was like trying to, I don't know, hide it, but it just happened not to capture that. But if you like what you see, pick it up. It's out now. I definitely recommend it. I'm not going to be doing a review for it because, like I said, this is very loosely related to Sega. It's rare that we cover stuff that is this loosely related, but because of the team behind it, the person doing the music, and just the fact that this is really kind of not just a spiritual sequel. This is a sequel to a series of games, of arcade beat 'em ups that has included something like Hyperstone Heist, which to me is like one of my favorite Sega Genesis games. To have it, carry on that tradition is a lot of fun. And so before we close things out, I wanted to present just a video that I made earlier today, just taking a look at some of my my Ninja Turtles toys. I don't really get to showcase that stuff on Sega Bits all that often. So you can check that out. You'll also see some items that appeared in the game itself. So enjoy that, and then we'll close things out. So in case it wasn't obvious, I'm a pretty big Ninja Turtles fan. I was able to carve out this corner of my game room to display almost the entirety of my Ninja Turtles collection. I was collecting since, I want to say like 1988, 1989. I was pretty much there when the figures started releasing. Of course, being a kid, I was not savvy to like what figure waves were. I didn't know when to go to the store and like find them. I didn't understand like that certain figures would be like re-released and other ones wouldn't be. It was just kind of like when I'd show up at the store, I'd pick something out. So a lot of this is my original collection from the late 80s and early 90s, but in recent years, I've been kind of picking up figures to fill holes in my collection. So I guess just to run through some of this real quick, a lot of these are the original line. So you would have, the four main turtles. So I've got them here. Where's the other guy? Oh, there he is. And then, of course, Splinter, April, and I have a couple different Aprils because they had different paint schemes there. And then kind of expanding from that, the next year, there were even more characters. And so I have more of those here from the following year. I'm kind of blanking on the years that these released. I want to say 87, 88. I'm sorry, I'm kind of, I need to have my spreadsheet with me. But these pretty much are the entirety of the first few years of the figure line. And then from there, they started to get really wacky. So you're going to start seeing some like just bizarre stuff. Like, we have Ground Chuck and Dirtbag here, which you saw in the footage there. They work together. Chrome Dome, I want to say. He's in the game at some point. And then it just gets crazier from there. Of course, you have Usagi Yojimbo in outer space. And I managed to actually get his little helmet and his little cape there too. So that's kind of fun for that. And then some of the weirder, I guess, rarer ones here in the back. Lionheart, who was never actually in the show. The Moose, I'm blanking on his name. But like, yeah, they would just start making up characters that never actually appeared on the show. So I'm actually very happy with my collection as it stands. It's very rare that I add anything to it, mainly because I've run out of space, but also because I'm really just focused on those early years of the Ninja Turtles. But there are some like, I guess you'd call them like side collections. I don't really know what you'd call them, but like, for example, these ones have these talking strips, and they actually have little speakers in their backs, and then you pull the strips through them. So as a kid, I owned one of these, and then I went back and I picked up the other ones. Same with the head-dropping turtles, where their heads actually plop down and you squeeze their legs for their heads to pop up. And then back here, just some kind of like the firefighting Donatello, weightlifting Donatello, and then some of the goofier little artillery items back here, like a slimy toilet thing. There's cereal, Vanilla Ice video, a floor puzzle, another video here, and then the cereal bowl, and then a hole in the wall. Maybe Shredder can come in through there. So I mean, as you can tell, I like the core four. I like getting them kind of as they are, not in weird costumes. I know they've had cowboys and birthday parties, and like, man, like the caveman, you know, like those are quirky, but I'm just not a big fan of them. I kind of like the ones like you can see here, the storage shell turtles, so they still look like the core four, but there's a little gimmick to them, so you can store all their items in their backpacks, and they have like larger teeth, I guess. So, you know, between them and these guys and the head dropping ones and then the classics, I really like when they present them with a new gimmick, but they still appear as they kind of do without any extra costumes and things. Just to look at the vehicles here. So this one is the second one of these that they released. The first one you can see up here is very basic, and then they added neon colors and a turtle head, just like super wacky. This is a mutating ski bike, so on land it drives and on sea the wheels bend down and it can actually float. The pizza thrower, one of my absolute favorite vehicles of, like, honestly any action figure line. You can plug this thing in or turn it on with batteries, and it makes the loudest noise possible and flings those pizzas like at deadly speeds. Like, you can actually hurt people with this. The classic turtle van, and then Needle Nose up here. I'm still looking for Killer Bee at a good price, the evil version of this guy. And then we have the tinier little Technodrome, the Scout. And then this is cool. So if you saw in the gameplay footage during the Rat King battle, he's actually standing on a wrecked version of this. So it's cool that the game Shredder's Revenge actually throws in a lot of toy nods. So I'm looking forward to looking in the background of future stages. I mean, maybe we'll see something like this or like that. I'm most definitely expecting to see one of these. And this was actually one of my holy grails, just because to find this without, like, I didn't have it as a kid, and to find it with all the pieces is nigh impossible, because these little things, they are not glued on. They all pop off. These pop off. These pop off. These do. These do. Like, it is the most intricate, poorly designed toy I've ever seen, because obviously kids are going to lose all of these things. There's little cables in the back, and it's just a mess. And then finally, we'll move up here to the wall. So I've got more figures up here, as well as some little goodies that I've received in the Dinosaur Dracula Fun Pack. So like stickers of pizza points. What else did he have? He had these little figures there and these buttons. But yeah, again, talking about that core four with their little gimmicks. We've got the Mutating Turtles. I actually have the full line of those. So they even had Shredder and Splinter before they mutated as well. This cool, like Terminator style foot soldier where you can see his innards. Taka, Razar, April. She actually turned into a like animal in one of the episodes, so they actually made that. Bebop and Rocksteady, though they kind of changed the race of one of them. And then we have the Channel 6 team here, the Neutrinos. These are from the Toon Turtle line. This one isn't, but I moved him up here because he's part of the trio. There's actually another repaint of him that exists. And then here's Toon Shredder actually wearing my original Shredder's cloak. I removed it because as much as I like my original Shredder, finding this not too long ago for, geez, just like a couple bucks, it was an amazing find because I always wanted the Toon Shredder and he just looks great. And then Wacky Action Turtles here. So again, you know, they add a gimmick, but they still look like the turtles. So you wind them up and they do crazy things. And these ones are just, like, this is the most insane looking figure ever. Look at that face. And then he's even a Wacky Action guy. So that's pretty much the entirety of my Ninja Turtle collection from the original line. And then, oh wait, got one more thing. So up here is the very first line that they did where it was the turtles in disguise or in costume. So as much as I'm not a huge fan of that, I absolutely love the first time they did it. This one back here, the Donatello in like undercover back there, is probably one of my favorite figures out of all of them. And then you know, this guy finding him with his helmet was kind of tricky. And geez, it's like yellowed and nasty over time. Got a vehicle up here swinging. And then these are some of those super, you know, articulated re-releases that have come out from other lines. I wanted to collect more of these, but they take up so much space and they're getting expensive that I've actually canceled a lot of orders for them. I think I'm only getting the Krang that is coming out soon. Back here's an animation cell. You could actually buy these at Target, which is insane to me. Like, you could go to Target as a kid and buy original Turtles animation in a cell, so that's really sweet. A few carded figures that I've gotten recently. These were very, very cheap at like flea markets and toy stores. So I kind of think of Toy Story 2 when I see these, because I kind of wish they were out of their packages. But, you know, I kind of like having carded versions just to see them here. And then I just threw up one of these too. I always loved the little grids. So yeah, and then finally we got a autograph from one of the co-creators, so that's really cool, and a sketch. So yeah, overall, that's my turtle collection. Don't forget to bring back turtle pies. So let's throw it back to me. I didn't plan for this, so bye.